Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. I am super excited about today's project. We are working on our first mystery box. So this was sent to me by Turner's Warehouse. I have no clue what's in this box, and I guess there's instructions, and I need to kind of figure out what's going on and make something cool out of whatever's in this box. So I gotta be honest, I'm super excited. This is gonna be a really fun project. And going forward, as long as this wasn't a complete disaster for some reason, I think we're gonna be doing this kind of like on a monthly basis, where I get a box full of stuff from Turner's Warehouse and I gotta make something out of it. So before we begin, I just wanna thank Haley. She works at Turner's Warehouse. She did all the amazing artwork on this box. I love it. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. I mean, she is just talented. So anyway, I almost don't want to cut into this thing. But anyway, without further ado, how about we bust this thing open and make a project out of it? All right, so it looks like we got some instructions from Chad and the folks over at Turner's Warehouse. I love this. This is awesome. All right, so it says, "Hello, Zach. Today you'll be casting for a project kit, and we have some very specific instructions for you before you open the box fully." Ooh, good thing I didn't open it fully. "First, we need you to set a timer for 60 seconds to begin when you are finished reading this." Oh my gosh. Got your timer ready? Okay. "Starting when you finish this sentence, you have 60 seconds to gather any casting materials and supplies, not counting resin. Ready? Go." Okay, I didn't expect this to be a timed thing, so I got a timer here. I'm gonna hit the minute button. I had to rearrange the cameras, so don't, penalize me for that. So we got 1 minute. I'm gonna hit go, and I'm gonna grab some supplies. We're gonna get some mica powder. We're gonna get some of this and some of that and some of, that's empty, emerald green, and a couple dyes. I don't know, gray, sure. And I'm gonna run over here. I don't know if we're supposed to be dunking stuff. I'm gonna grab I'm grabbing random stuff here, guys. And I'm guessing that you're gonna give me gloves. I'm gonna use Alumilite Clear Slow. And I'm also gonna grab some molds. I'm running out of time here. We're gonna grab the pen blank mold just in case. I don't know which size. I'm running out of time. Need a 2-inch. Oh, and stoner. Okay. I don't know if I did that right. Okay, so let's see here. Hopefully I had the camera running. I did. Whew. Oh, this is tough. Okay, so now it says, "Okay, got your supplies. Do you feel good about them? We hope so, because your challenge is to use all of them in some way in your cast." This is gonna be fun. "Have fun and happy casting." I think I did okay. All right. Promise I didn't cheat. Ooh, look, we got fruit snacks. Do you guys know that you get fruit snacks in every order at Turner's Warehouse? If you haven't ordered from Turner's Warehouse, you need to order just to get your fruit snacks. Oh, it looks like we might have a mold, so I didn't have to do that. We got a 3-inch mold. Nice, I don't have to use that one. And, ooh, a pepper mill mechanism. Sweet, okay. This is gonna turn out okay. I'm gonna get the camera in and show you this kit. All right, so we got a pepper mill mechanism. This is gonna be awesome. I haven't made one of these before, so I don't exactly know what I'm doing. Hopefully there's some instructions, maybe online even. I don't think there's instructions in the box. So check this thing out. So I'm kind of guessing this thing flips around and then it goes like this. And how does this thing, you put your peppercorns in there, and then you grind it up. So I'm looking at this thing. I don't want to lose all these parts. We got a couple screws, and looking on the bottom, so it looks like you just mount this onto your blank, once you've turned it, with the 2 screws. So I'm kind of guessing that we're going to be casting, obviously we're casting a cylinder here, And then I'm guessing you just do a through hole, you know, like maybe a smaller hole on the top. I'm not entirely certain. I'm gonna have to look a little bit into this, get some instructions, and go for it. All right, guys, so this is what I had time to grab, or what I did grab. And luckily, it's probably a good thing I brought the stoner. So we have stoner, we got interference red, Pearl-X, we got Nocon blue, we got emerald green. I grabbed some divine pigments, we got shark gray and teal blue. I grabbed these are fabric scraps. So I knew that I had this bag of these things. I thought it might be fun, possibly. So we got a bunch of fabric scraps. Plus we have some little chunks of stabilized and dye-stabilized wood. So I'll grab some of those, grab some fabric, throw some color in there. This is going to be a pretty crazy blank. So let's get started with the casting. All right, so now that we have the pipe sprayed, we just pop our plug in. Easy peasy. Set that aside. So here's what the game plan is. So I had these, you know, fabric scraps. I might grab a little bit more of that. And I had my wood chunks. So I grabbed some wood chunks out of the box. I grabbed my fabric scraps, a little bit of it. And so what I think I want to do is kind of fill the bottom, you know, with these wood chunks, and then kind of jam the fabric scraps down in there as well, but then leave some clear at the top. So we're going to be using mostly clear resin in this. However, you know, we have our colors, and what I want to do is just add little wisps of color to the top, but have it be mostly clear. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get all this stuff ready. I'm going to pop these guys in the oven, warm them up a little bit. I got a little tray, and I can put them on just to flash off any moisture. These are all stabilized, so it shouldn't really be a problem, but always good to warm things up. Get that going, and we're going to be using Alumilite Clear Slow. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pour in, you know, a good amount of the resin, get that wood in, and get these fabric scraps in right away, and let that kind of start soaking up. You know, because it's a kind of a quicker setting resin, I want to give this fabric enough time to really kind of soak up as much resin as possible, and then kind of just, you know, fill up, you know, pretty close to the top. And then at the end, though, we're going to wait and add these kind of closer to the end of the working time, so they just kind of drip through. So it'll be kind of a graffiti effect, hopefully, I guess, and then we'll have this craziness on the bottom. That's kind of the game plan. All right, let's do this. Okay, let's get some wood down in the bottom. Wood chunks. And some fabric scraps too. Okay, now it's a waiting game. I'm going to wait a little bit, keep the temperature gauge handy, and then once we've gotten our resin kind of thickened up close to the end of the working time, we'll just kind of dump some swirls on top, and it should kind of flow down into the resin, hopefully. That's the game plan. So as of right now, our temperature is 97.5. We want to wait until probably about 120 to 130. Somewhere in that neighborhood. I think we'll go with like 120, and then I'll start pouring these things. All right, we're just about there, so I'm going to pour this in. And I think we're going to go for it. Okay, now the question is, should I tempt fate and poke it around in there a little bit? That's all I'm going to do. In you go.
The next morning.
All right, so it's pulled out, and I ended up leaving it in overnight, but you only need to leave something like this with Alumilite clear, probably 2 hours. So let's see what we got in here. Whoa, it came right out. I did a good job with my, with my mold release. I'm just wiping off some extra mold release here. And oh man, I think this blank's gonna turn out excellent. All right, so at this point, we just need to get the two ends kind of squared up and then chuck it up on the lathe and start working on this. So let's head over there and get this thing rolling. All right, so we're all squared up and ready to go. So I just wanted to stop and kind of explain exactly what's going on with this kit. I looked up some instructions on, exactly what's happening, and it's very simple. It's going to be a really fun project. So if you haven't seen this kit before, all that this thing is, all that our blank is basically a handle to hold onto it while you grind, and kind of the chute for, the peppercorns to fall through. The grinder mechanism itself, all it does is sit on top of this. You don't have to fit any parts or do anything like that. Very simple. It's just bolted onto the top, and this is a handle, basically. All right, so there's a few different ways that you could attack this on the lathe. All we have to do, basically, is drill a 1-inch hole all the way through the handle part and then shape it to our desire, and then just, screw on the top, the grinder to the top. So it's pretty simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this between centers, true it up, and then put a tenon on it, grab it with the 4-jaw chuck, and I'm going to go for about a 3.5-inch long, handle in the end. So I'll shape it the way I want, then I'm going to drill it 3.5 inches or so, and then part it off. All right, and then basically you're done. Now, one extra step that I might try to do is you could also maybe try and make a little base out of the rest of the blank. So I may try to do that. It'll kind of depend on time a little bit, but at its core, I mean, all you have to do is drill a 1-inch hole, shape it, part it off or whatever, and then, it's done. Mount the grinder to the top. So it's a pretty fun project. It's one of those where you can totally just have at it and just make shavings and not really worry about anything having to be perfect or lining up or anything like that, It's going to be pretty cool. So one thing that I do want to mention, though, is be aware of how long your Forstner bit is. Make sure that, if you're going to go for like a 5-inch handle or something like that, that's going to kind of change the way that you do this project. You may have to drill in and then flip it and then come in from the other side. Another way to go is just get a longer Forstner bit. That's what I'm going to do. This one would have been really close to get to 3.5 inches. I would have had to hang it out of the drill jaws, and not a good idea. So I found a longer one. My dad had this, so that'll easily get in as far as I want to drill this out. Just like I said, be aware of that. It could kind of change the way that you do this blank. And the mounting and all that kind of stuff and the steps. So let's get this thing chucked up and let's make some shavings. All right, so I'm going to put a UV finish on this. This is cured by UV light, but you have a long working time, unlimited working time, and then you just cure it, like I said, with the UV light. So I'm going to dump a little bit in this bottle here. Or cup, I should say. I like to brush it on. I like using a good brush. So I'm going to get this thing kind of wetted up. All right, so this thing's looking pretty wicked. We got all three materials in there. It's clear. There are some little specks and dimples in the finish, so I think I'm going to sand that back and just try and apply a second coat and try and fix that a little bit. But overall, I'm really happy with this. So once we get the finish, kind of the second coat on, we'll be able to turn this thing off and then mount our grinder to the top. But I'm going to try and make a base out of the rest of this blank as well. So that way you can kind of put the thing down in it, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm pretty excited about this thing. It's looking pretty awesome. I think this is going to turn out great. All right, I made it through my first mystery box and everything turned out really good. I'm happy with this thing. It was a really fun project. So big thank you to Turner's Warehouse for setting up the whole mystery box. I mean, it was really exciting, kind of, you know, like not having a clue what I'm making or what's going on, just kind of being told directions and then seeing what happens. And then, you know, it was really exciting opening the box and seeing this kit. I've never even made one of these before. And I'm happy with how everything turned out. I really love the base idea with this. You don't have to do that, but you know, the nice thing about it is, you know, when you're done grinding, no matter how much you like shake out the extra pepper, you know, grindings, the minute you set it down, it's going to drop some more stuff out. And so I think the base idea, it just, you know, it makes it kind of a whole thing. It finishes off the piece, let's say, but it also is functional. You know, it'll capture all those extra little peppers that fall out. So I bought some peppercorns, and I'm going to test this out in a second so you can see how this kit works and how it grinds and all that kind of stuff, how well it goes. But overall, I can't complain about anything on this. Everything turned out really good. The one thing that I do want to mention is with the screws, you know, trying to tighten screws on a weird angle, just be really careful that you don't, you know, strip the like head, you know, the slots when you're trying to do it. Do it very carefully and really make sure that you get the right drill bit. So for this, what I used was a 3/32 drill bit. I ended up trying smaller ones and just going up the ladder kind of. And so I ended up with a 3/32. That worked great. But you do want to put some wax or some sort of a lubricant on the screws, and definitely you want to actually sink those screws down, like tighten them up before you're actually putting the thing on. That way you're kind of like, you know, putting the threads in, and you don't have to try and thread the hole while you're, you know, on this kind of weird angle. You wouldn't want to like snap the head off of the screw, you know, that would just really suck. So just be very careful with the, you know, when you're getting everything set up with the screws, just take your time and try not to like strip anything, break any heads off, or do any of that kind of stuff. I just use paste wax on the screws. That'll just kind of let it kind of glide in there a little bit easier. There's even a product called Screw Lube that is really made for this also, but I mean, I think it's just wax. So whatever you can find that'll kind of lubricate that screw head when you're like tapping it in, use that and everything will go pretty well. If you're going to do this with wood, you're probably going to want to drill a smaller hole than that. With plastic, there's no give, so you have even more, I don't know, there's more likelihood that you know, it's going to be tougher to kind of thread it if you were using a smaller hole, and there's a bigger chance of snapping that head off and losing the screw in there. So just make sure that you're doing everything right, and everything will turn out pretty good, I guess. So let's get some peppercorns in this thing. Let's grind up some stuff. I think I've seen other people do this kit. I actually had to look up some instructions. But I think we'll get some like white paper towels and just kind of see how this thing grinds. And one other quick thing before we kind of start the grinder, you can also change how like fine the grind is with this knob on the top. So this kit is really a pretty cool thing. So let's go get some peppercorns and let's grind up some pepper. All right, no complaints here. This thing works pretty good. It's pretty smooth. I got a big pile of pepper here. I've been kind of grinding away playing with it. So pretty cool thing. If you want to pick one of these guys up, and the pipe and the plug, I got links to all that down in the description below. Big thank you again to Turner's Warehouse for hooking me up with this kit and the mystery box. I had a blast doing this, and so down in the comments, let me know, did you guys enjoy this mystery box project? I thought it was a pretty cool idea, and like I said, I had a lot of fun with it, and I think Turner's Warehouse had fun setting it up. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this. I'd love to hear that. But overall, what do you think about this? Is this something that you guys want to make? Have you made one of these things? Let me know again down in the comments. Pretty cool kit. It's actually, you know, with the holidays, I mean, they're coming up a while from now, but, you know, down the road, you know, this is a pretty cool gift, I think, for somebody. People put pepper on like everything. So I think it's a pretty fun kit. I'm actually surprised I never made one before. So let me know if this is something that you guys want to make. And again, all the links are down in the description below. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching this video and happy casting.